So have you ever been in a car and hear a song coming through your speakers and instantly remember all the words? Do memories of another time or place, and this is usually the case, events, flood your brain? That happens to me all the time. If I'm on my way to work, or even walking down the street and a song hits my ears and bam, I'm somewhere else. I remember the good times and the bad times. I've even had it happen to me when I'm just walking around, not really looking for music at all. That happens a lot in grocery stores. Not really sure why. But that's what this channel is about. My music memories. Things that flood into my head while hearing that song. This song is What I Am by Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. Now this band wasn't exactly the most popular thing in the world when it was released. It was and still is a folky pop band. They weren't U2, that's for sure. But the song had an earworm that burrowed deep into my head whenever I heard it. Now I first saw the tape cover before hearing the song. I noticed a tape in my best friend's dresser one afternoon, so I asked to borrow it and gave it a listen. It wasn't bad. This song, though, was definitely the standout song. It didn't seem to be the kind of music that I would listen to back then. My best friend Brenna was the owner of the tape. I don't have any clue why she would spend her hard-earned money on this tape. To be quite honest, I don't even know how it came into being in her possession. Maybe she got it as a gift. Maybe she stole it from a church penny sale. I really don't know. All I do know is that when I asked, she let me have it. No questions asked. Now, I met Bren for the first time when I first started working at my job at Kmart. We both started on the same day. It was a Monday, probably. I mean, I think most employers start a new employee on a Monday. It's a quieter day, easier to train, so yeah, it was a Monday. We had both dealt with an agency that helped people in their early 20s to find jobs in the community. They found us a job at the local Kmart. I somehow lucked into working in the electronics department. Yes, I was surrounded by video games all day. Although I think at that time in my life, I didn't actually own a game console. It was kind of ironic, don't you think? Brenna was in the ladies' clothing department. We got to know each other by eating lunches together. I don't really remember having all that much in common at all. I mean, around that time, she saw LeAnn Rimes in concert. Now, I didn't like country music. I didn't even listen to it a little bit. And I really, really didn't hang out with people who listened to country music. But thinking about it now, LeAnn's only song that I can stomach is the one from Coyote Ugly. You know, that I Can't Fight the Moonlight song? So looking back, it must have been when I was funny, a time in my life when I was actually fun to be around. Maybe that's why we gelled so well. I would regularly pick her up for work each morning. Her place was on my way to work. While picking her up, I met her parents. Her mom was amazing. She had an attitude much like mine. She had a real strong bullshit detector and said things as they were. Her dad, well, I didn't know him too well, mostly because he didn't talk too much. But I do recall, and this seems to stick out in my head, that her house was always spectacular. It looked so effortlessly clean. To this day, I don't know how they accomplished that. I mean, my house has never looked that good. So we worked our butts off at Kmart, trying to convince them to keep us on after the government program had stopped paying part of our wages. It didn't work. We got let go both on the same day. We drifted apart after that, kind of. She wandered into another job and I moved into town. We still stayed in touch occasionally though. When I would need to be in town for an appointment or something, we would always meet up and spend the day together. Life kept rolling on as it does, dragging us into different directions. I ended up in a northern town working at a grocery store, and Brenna would end up moving down south with her fiance. Her fiance was a good guy, and we would constantly reach out to each other whenever we needed to get relationship or advice or life advice. Now, I don't really like talking on the phone very much. I'm just not a phone talker person. But whenever we would talk, even to this day, we would end up staying on the phone for hours. We always talked about standing it up in each other's weddings. She would be my best man, and we always laughed about her dressing in a tuxedo and a cummerbund. And I was to be her maid of honor. We went back and forth on whether I would ever put on a dress. And over time, that question would be answered when the guy proposed to her. And I guess they were having a little trouble planning a wedding because suddenly I got a phone call telling me that they were getting married in Las Vegas. She explained that it would be easier than going through the hassle of planning a wedding in this country. I said it would also be easier to convince me to go there than convincing me to get my ass into a dress. But life's responsibilities kept me from going. And I spent time explaining it to her so that she wasn't too pissed. I simply told her that in the end, all we want is for each other to be happy. And if that meant Vegas with no me, then so be it. They did get married, and according to her, it was a lot of fun. Around that time, well, I'm not too sure on the timing. I mean, when you get to be my age, things tend to slip a bit. Brenna began to deal cards to gamblers in a big casino. She really seemed to enjoy that, well, at least at the beginning. I kind of followed the same path. I mean, I loved my job at the beginning. But time seems to drain that love out of us when we stay at a job too long. At that time, Brenna and I realized we were just too stubborn to leave our jobs. So here we are, a grocery stocker and a card dealer. She was happy dealing with life's body blows, whereas I was constantly trying to dodge and weave my way through them. Life caught up to us a lot, really working us over, with the death of parents and sickness appearing in our life's past. But we would always call each other and come up with ways to deal with it. We've only seen each other once since our city changes, way back in the day. My home is pretty out of the way in the grand scheme of traveling Ontario, but one time she had to come up this way, so I quickly forced her to stay a few nights. We bought a bunch of booze and gave the house a 10-second tidy. Then we introduced everybody. Her husband gave me the look, and my wife did the same thing to Brenna. You know the look, the you ain't gonna steal my man or woman look. After drinking a bit, we laughed that dumb idea out of the room. We've always been in love with our spouses. The next day, we showed them around a bit, introduced them to a few of my friends, and then they had to leave. This song will always remind me of Brenna, our strange, unspecific relationship. We've always thought of each other as siblings. We're just that close. But as strange as it sounds, our friendship has actually gone stronger with the distance between us. We have more to talk about, more bitching, more bragging, just what brothers and sisters do. Now, I've never heard anything else by Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. Maybe this was their best song. Maybe it was their only song. I don't really know. But what I do know is that they created a song that keeps Brenna and I in contact, no matter what life throws at us. And the funny thing is, she probably won't remember this song or even remember owning the tape. But I think that's what happens. Odd, unimportant things help relationships and memories grow stronger. Thanks for listening to a story that fell out of my head. This was a very personal story about a really good friend. And if you have a song that reminds you of a friend or, well, even an enemy, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.